What's up?
Oh, yeah, we're back.
We're back.
I mean, to everybody else, we've been here.
But it's been, what, over 3-4 weeks since we've recorded an episode actually face-to-face together?
Yeah, we haven't came to Tugmore Studio.
That's right.
For, 3 or 4 weeks. Things have been busy in our real lives.
That's true.
And because we're geniuses.
Yeah. we have a calendar.
we had a couple episodes in the tank.
Yes. Back recording days,
and so we haven't seen each other in a while, a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen each other, but not in this regard. And
yeah.
You were gone last week, so yeah, we kind of haven't.
I went and preached a youth camp.
Yes.
Last week, and that was super fun.
That's right.
I'm like, am I not getting kind of too old to keep doing this?
Apparently,
but they keep asking me.
You are young and fun. So
I'm young
good.
in spirit.
That's
I just
right.
ask Easton what I'm supposed to wear.
And he helps you stay at least somewhat cool.
Yeah, when I went to do the camp. But I had this one shirt that I wore. It's kind of loud. It's got roses all over it. Uh-huh. Have you seen it? It's like a polo with roses on it. And I've learned that if certain guys say they like your shirt, it's not a good thing. And I walk out of my little cabin at this camp, and this guy's like, Pastor Truston, I love your shirt. And I'm like,
oh no, not this guy.
maybe I should change. But yeah, went to camp, and so that was fun. But previous to that,
right?
We were in Africa.
We went all the way to the other side of the world.
Whoa.
It was a great time.
I think we talked about it.
That we were going to go? I think we did. I don't remember.
So that was super fun. We flew out we're gone, 11 days?
Yeah.
And so flew to London.
Yes.
And stayed there for a long layover
11 hours.
11 hours.
12 hours, something
got
like that.
to go and tour the city. We saw Big Ben.
Yeah.
And we got to hang out with the Queen.
Yeah.
I got knighted.
A bunch of things happened.
That did not happen.
No, but it was super fun. The four of us, our spouses and us, got to go be a part of a conference over on the other side of the world with some missionaries and some church leaders that we love and get to support. And it was a great time.
Yeah, super fun.
Super fun. But yeah.
Work.
Oh, yeah. But also exciting.
I led a missions trip when I was a youth pastor. And
years ago.
20 years ago. And a 16-year-old girl on that trip to Durban, South Africa, felt like God called her to be a missionary.
That's crazy.
And as a youth pastor, I was like,
okay, that's cute.
That's
Great.
cool. Yeah, cool. She's now a missionary. Her and her husband.
In that same place.
In Durban, South Africa. And so she and her
crazy.
husband are a part of a team that put on this entire conference.
Yep.
And so we got to go and invest and pour into the lives of hundreds of people there. And, while we were talking with them, I kept saying stuff that we've already said here on the Tug of More.
Yeah. Just sharing information.
Tug of More Africa edition.
Oh, there you go. Hey, we should have done one while we were over there. That would have been fun. But yeah, it was a great time. I feel like coming back now, there's so much to catch up of our life and like energy.
Yeah.
Because when you're tugging into more, sometimes when you do something else, that rope you've been pulling, you set it down for a minute. And so now we're having to pick some stuff back up, and I feel a little bit behind. But those memories and that experience was so good and invaluable to what we do that I feel like we couldn't have missed it. It was so great.
I feel more than a little bit behind. I feel a lot of bit behind. It's like when you're gone for 11 days, and then I got home from Africa, preached Sunday, got back on an airplane, left for camp. Now I'm here today. I don't even know what day it is.
I was going to say, are you even...
Thankfully, Easton texted us and said, hey guys, let me know when you're available to shoot an episode.
Because if you don't, we won't have one. No, I'm glad. You feel like you caught up from jet lag before you went to the camp or during the camp while you're at the camp?
During the camp.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah, because when we got back from Africa, I was still waking up at like 3:30 a.m., completely awake. And
then what day did you have a moment where you're like, I feel better, or no? Did it just gradually?
I think, just at camp, they do services late.
Oh,
and so I'm not done with service until 11. And then you're in a campground. So, you haven't eaten dinner. So now I'm eating food from the snack shack.
Oh, great. Yes.
Golly, I probably gained 300 pounds at 1 week at youth camp. Yeah, it was bad. I was eating they had something called a Big Bopper. It's an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, okay.
It was not that great.
But you were eating it. No,
all the youth leaders were like, you got to go get a Big Bopper. It's the greatest ice cream I ever heard. And I was like, y'all are deprived.
Yeah.
If you think this is fantastic
You've not
dessert.
had Texas ice cream.
It's like,
Hello?
this is trash.
Yeah, well.
But anyways.
It's where they were. We won't say the state because we love all the states equally. But Texas is the best. Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
welcome to the Tug of More.
What's up, everybody?
Conversation between two friends. We talk about stepping into all that God has for us. The tug, the tension, the fight to get to where we want to be, because right now we're just where we are.
Right. I mean, ever since I was young, I knew that God had something for me.
Yeah.
I knew that like there was a calling, something
Yeah.
great to accomplish. And so your whole life, you're trying to step into the things that God's called you
Yeah.
to do. And so our leadership context is ministry.
Right.
We're pastors. But that means that we manage staff. We manage volunteers. We manage a large budget.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of leadership context that
Absolutely.
we break down. And so if you're new, welcome. Would love for you after this episode to go back through our catalog. I think we've got over 70 episodes now of us talking through just tons of things.
You know, while you were at your camp, there was a day when I noticed on my phone that we got a bunch of followers on the gram for Tug of More.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys did a little push and said, you
E-Money.
should follow it.
Easton got up and he made a graphic and he showed the thing and here's where to follow us. And
Okay, well, they did it, so that's good.
yeah, and so now I've got a whole bunch of new Instagram friends.
That's good.
We should say it. If you don't follow us on our personal
come on.
stories,
We're very entertaining.
Whitney does a great job on her Instagram explaining where I am. Because if you look at mine,
tagging you in things like,
if you look at mine, I don't do very good.
Oh, yeah, be our friend, reach out to us. But yeah, today, what are we talking about?
Well, so, okay. There's a bunch of times in life that you might feel like you're winning in some areas, but then others that you're losing in other areas.
Yeah.
And that can become real discouraging.
Absolutely.
You can feel like, man, I have more problems than I have solutions.
Absolutely.
My to-do list is growing faster than the hours in my week.
Yeah.
All the time I say I wish a week had 10 days.
Right.
Like I wish I just had
Right.
more time to do what I need to do. And so you can start to feel like, oh, I'm the worst. I suck. I'm never going to get to more.
Yeah.
And you feel discouraged. And so what I want us to talk about is how we've had to intentionally, as leaders and
Yeah.
as friends, learn to encourage ourselves.
Absolutely.
That it's not just wait for somebody else to encourage us or wait for circumstances to encourage us, but that we have to make a cognitive decision
Right.
to say, I'm doing a good job.
We're doing a good job. Yeah, you know, we meet every Monday and we kind of write out a list. We have an ongoing Google Doc list, but then we also write on the whiteboard lists of things that we need to accomplish. And because we have not been in the work context together for a bunch of weeks, today we made a giant list. And what I think for me in the moment, we were like, there were some pieces I was catching you up on, things you were catching me up on, and then some things that have been on that list for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, we've already covered all the things we could cover about it, and we're still just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're still just waiting to find the right answer. We're still trying something, or we tried one thing, it didn't really work, so let's try something different. And sometimes as you're tugging into more, the list starts to compound, and you just get a little bit like overwhelmed and like, wait, but what you said, the problems are big. I've solved a few, but look how many more there are. And I think what happens is we look at the problems that need to be solved and we forget to look at the problems that we did solve. So you and I a while ago decided, instead of just deleting everything off of our list that we've accomplished, we started instead color highlighting, we accomplished these things.
Yeah.
Like it was a little but a simple way of going, we have done a lot of good things. Because the list will continue to grow of things that we need to solve.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're a leader of anything, you want to be making progress.
Absolutely.
And so the tough thing is that sometimes progress, it's like nothing, boom.
All the things at once.
You got there. And so sometimes it's just slow consistency.
Yeah.
What is the tortoise and the hare? The tortoise wins the race.
Yeah. Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. And so,
race.
but in those slow and steady moments, man, it can be really like
absolutely
monotonous.
Yeah.
Real
mundane.
Are we seriously still talking about this? Like for us at the church, we do not own a building large enough
right now
to house
us on Sundays.
To house our church.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been working on this.
I mean, forever.
For 4 years.
Yeah.
And we're working and God's good and we've got now a bunch of options.
Right.
But they're still all like years away and like
require money, time, energy.
Yeah.
All the things. And it's
and
like,
so
what's the right decision?
So it can feel like real discouraging.
Absolutely. And I think also for us, like we went away for a minute on this trip. And you know what? On that trip, I was really encouraged.
Super.
There were some things that...
Thank God that he didn't call me to Africa.
Yeah,
But if you're called to move to Africa...
You're incredible.
Obey God and go.
You're amazing. Do it. Like, I was inspired by the people there. Mm-hmm. I was encouraged by some of their testimonies, like what God did for them. Oh, then he's going to do it for us. I was encouraged by some things that I'm like, I'm proud of the way we're doing what we're doing in our context there. I'm proud that we're getting to go and help encourage some other people with our wisdom and experience. But then it's funny because you come back home to some of the same issues that you've been struggling and facing, and you're like, I went to the other side of the world. They didn't go away. They didn't solve themselves. But what other than marking off the list and going, look, we solved it. What have we had to do? What have you had to do as a person to go, hey, I need to encourage myself today that I'm doing great, that I'm at least making progress.
Like we said, we're pastors.
Yeah.
And so for me, it started with a Bible story.
Yes.
As much of my stuff does. So there's a story in the Bible about a guy named David.
Yep.
He's a king. And David was like in a jam.
Yeah.
Bunch of his men got killed. His wife and children got kidnapped. Right. Like everything in life is falling apart.
He's in a pickle.
The men that follow him want to murder him.
Yeah.
And so things are not going good. The Bible says that David went into a cave and encouraged himself.
Right.
And I remember reading that and being like, what? How?
Yeah.
This is the most depressing possible scenario that any man's ever been in.
Yeah.
But yet he somehow got alone and he encouraged himself. And so that started to get my gears shifting for me. Like, okay, if David could, he's just a dude.
Right.
I'm just a dude. I can learn to encourage myself. And so it started with just, you're doing good, Truston. Like this little positive self-talk, which I don't think it really made a whole ton of progress. But like making the choice of looking at where you are winning.
Yeah. And
so if you have the personality and the tendency to tug into more, right, and to work hard and be driven, you're only many times looking at what you still have to do. Right. But you don't look back at what you have done.
Yeah.
And so for me, one of the greatest ways to encourage myself is to look backwards at like, man, look at where we are winning.
Right. Look at where we were even 6 months ago, a year ago, and then where we are now. And yes, there's still a whole bunch of rope left that we want to keep tugging into. Yeah. But like, there's a whole bunch of rope behind us that we have accomplished, that we have handled. I think sometimes we there's that phrase like, I remember the days I prayed for the days I'm living in right now. And like so often that we just again, the list grows, it compounds, we start to get overwhelmed. But like going, wait a minute, I am now living in the blessing of things that I worked hard for and that God was faithful in. And something we had to start doing in a season I remember is being like, okay, let's call out some things that we did accomplish. Let's call out some things that we did win in. Yes, we identify, I got 99 problems, but let's identify the 3 that we've solved. Yeah. And when you start to allow yourself, I think our tendency, a lot of people who their tug into more tendency is if I just get excited about what I did do, then I'll stop accomplishing. But for us, like that's never going to be who we are. We're always going to want to keep accomplishing. Yeah. But we have to look at what we have done and pat ourselves on the back and say, good job. You're doing a good job.
I went to the gym this morning after a 3-week hiatus. Yeah. So that was rough. And so I get on the treadmill with my buddy. And, you're on the treadmill and it has a timer. And there's a button that you can push. Right. And it will tell you how long you've been on. Or it will tell you 60-minute countdown.
Oh, okay, yep.
For how much longer you have to go. And I kind of live my life.
Yep.
How much farther I have to go. Right. I live my life as if, man, I still have so much more. But I don't run on the treadmill that way. Right. Because that's horrible to think, man, I have to go that many more minutes.
Yeah.
No, instead, I look at what I've accomplished.
Yeah.
So when I look at what I've accomplished, I say, I already ran 10 minutes. I'm halfway, baby.
Right.
I only got, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think what you're saying is take a minute if you feel discouraged and look at the progress that you've made, not only in like numerical growth or financial growth, but maybe like how healthy were your parents emotionally?
Right.
Like, were they doing okay? How, like,
what are some things that you like, oh, these are things I'm going to actually, as a person, as a human, I'm going to determine for my life. Are you meeting your goals, or have you at least made progress in them? I think we get so like, I'm going to be this weight. I'm going to have this salary. I'm going to have this promotion title. My family's going to look like that. We're going to go on these vacations.
Yeah.
And we don't even look at like, we did go to Galveston.
No.
We did go to Florida, whatever it is.
We are doing good.
We are doing good.
I still want to lose like another 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's discouraging some days because I'm like, God, it's so hard and I love food so much. Big boppers.
Yeah, the big boppers.
But when I look back and say, but I've lost 35.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I have 25 to go.
Right.
But I've already lost 35.
Absolutely.
It helps reset that frustration of what you aren't able to do.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, especially in the last few years, COVID, culture shifts, political climates, all these things, it can start to feel like, well, I did gain some ground, but now I feel like I've taken some steps back.
Yes, worse.
And it's the worst feeling. Like, it's the worst feeling.
But we got to encourage ourselves.
But even for us, like, so talking church and ministry, like, we had an attendance number that we were meeting, and then COVID set us back, and we've climbed back up, but haven't really felt like we've made the progress beyond what we want to make in that. But what we've had to look at instead is go, okay, that was my marker then. But what are our markers of health now? Yeah. Sometimes the progress, maybe we've had some setbacks in certain pieces, but we've made some great progress in some other markers. And where we found some encouragement for ourselves is in identifying, okay, that was my target before. But some things have changed around me, and I need to adjust the target. And when I adjust the target, I feel like, oh, I'm winning. No,
what you're saying is so good. Adjust the target. And like, you have to look at the reality.
Right. Around you.
Around you. And so for us, we have to look at the reality of we're weekly doing setup and teardown for a massive amount of people.
Right.
It's not like it was when we only had 100 people.
Right.
We're now doing something at a bigger capacity. But what I can do is I can compare what we're accomplishing to what another church is accomplishing with forgetting they've owned a building for 60 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we put it into real world, I'm trying to think of a scenario. So like if there's a single mom, okay?
Right.
If you're a single mom or a single dad, and you look at another family, how they went on this amazing vacation.
Right.
They took their kids to Disney World and spent 10 grand. And you think that you're a loser because you weren't able to do that for your kids. You have to look at the apples and the oranges.
Right.
That if that couple is a man and a wife, then they have two incomes and they're able to do those things. You can't look at what you can't do without perspective.
Well, and maybe they've been planning and preparing for that for 10 years.
Right.
And maybe you've only started saving for it like 6 months ago. Like there's so many pieces in the equation that when we start to compare, that's when we really get discouraged. I think you and I have found that there have been seasons of our life where we've allowed comparison to cause us to feel like we're doing worse than we actually are. And the truth is, most of the time when you're comparing to someone else, we know the phrase, like we're comparing to their highlight reel. We don't actually know the details and the behind the scene and their struggle and their years and their pieces, but we only see what we can see in our perspective, and it starts to get us super discouraged.
Yes.
But like, we can only know our pieces that we're carrying. We can't know all that they're carrying. And so stop it. Like we've had to literally tell each other, stop it. Don't compare to something else or someone else. Only compare ourselves to where we were yesterday and to where we're hoping to go.
So I just went and preached this youth camp.
Yeah.
And I went and opened up old sermons that I've preached to teenagers.
Yeah.
And I saw an illustration that I haven't done in years, but I did it at this youth camp. And I talk about comparison. and about how it causes insecurity
Yeah.
in us. And so what I do is I pull 5 other men in the room and I have them come stand in the front row. And I pick the guys on purpose.
Right.
And so I have these 5 guys come by and I say, this is what comparison does. And I walk in front of each of them. And to one guy I say, look, he's taller than me. So because he's taller than me, I feel insecure. Then there's another guy, he's buffer. Look as big his muscles are, man. I feel insecure. I get another guy, look how much hair he has. His hair, man, I can't grow that kind of hair. I compare myself.
Yeah.
I feel insecure. I have another guy, I'll get another guy who's like a big watch or something. And I'm like, look how much money he has. I'm broke. He's so amazing.
Right.
Then get another guy who can sing. This time I got one of the worship players who could play guitar. He can play guitar. Look, I compare myself to him. I'm a loser.
Yeah.
I said, what we do when we compare is then I walk past each one of the 5 guys and I go, he's cool. I'm a loser.
Yeah.
He's better than me. I'm a loser.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I'm a loser. You know what that's called? Discouragement.
Right.
And what we do so many times in life and on social media is we're just scrolling on Instagram and we see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And then we start to get discouraged because we're comparing. We look at somebody else's life, their church, their business, their vacation, their marriage. I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I'm a loser.
Right.
And that comparison causes discouragement.
Yeah. And we need to what we need to do, look in the mirror and encourage ourselves. Like actually say, no, this is who you are. We need to look around us, compare our actual circumstances to where we are, what we've said, look back. But sometimes I think we get in the funk of discouragement to where we need to not just encourage ourselves, but we've got to surround ourselves with a community of people who will help encourage us. There have been seasons of both of our life of leading where one of us or the other will walk in each other's office and on the whiteboard, right, we are doing a good job.
But let's just be real honest.
Yeah.
You are a much better encourager.
You think so?
To me, I think you encourage me more than I encourage you.
Good, because I think that you encourage me more than.
Okay.
I think that we have a teeter-totter of relationship that allows us to go, wait a minute, I'm for you and you're for me.
Yeah.
And so in this, we're going to encourage each other. Now, I might encourage you about the things you're more discouraged by, but you encourage me about the things I'm more discouraged by. And I think it's so important. I've never done this before. You're usually the one that does this, but I'm going to have them cut a clip and put it in because this week I saw on Instagram this great meme TikTok. I don't know. I'm not good. And they're going to show it right now.
Everyone's older than me. Everyone's bigger.
You don't have to tackle.
Bob, listen to me. No, Bob, listen to me. Trust me. Look at me. Look at me, Bob. I'm the shortest kid here. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're short, you're young. It doesn't matter if you're tall or it doesn't matter if you're fat. It doesn't matter if you're tall. Bob, you are a brilliant rugby player. You understand that? You're insane. You're actually insane for your age. You're insane. Come here, give me a hug.
Best teammate
It's
ever.
all right?
Best
You're
teammate.
really good.
Come on.
Come on. So come
Well, the point of this is, if you didn't, you haven't seen it, so I'm explaining it to you because you haven't put it in. But there's this boy who's so discouraged by being on the rugby team because he says, I'm smaller and younger than everybody else. And his teammate grabs him. Have you seen it? But what I love is this friend grabs him and he says, it doesn't matter if you're tall. It doesn't matter if you're short. It doesn't matter if you're fat. It doesn't matter. You, he says, are insane. You're an insane rugby player. And whoever you are, whatever you're doing, you are an insane you. You're the best you. Be the best you. And allow yourself to be encouraged by, am I doing the best I can do? You and I have had to look at and go, is there anything else we can do? No. Okay, we're doing the best we can do. And I think having someone else sometimes to just go, hey, you're doing a good job.
Dude, the reason that other little boy was able to do that, to encourage the one boy, is because he was a team player.
Absolutely.
He wasn't just looking for his personal stats.
It's true.
And I think that the reason that sometimes we get people around us that won't encourage us is because they're more concerned about their personal wins than the team wins.
Absolutely.
The reason you can encourage me is because we're on a team.
Right.
And you know that my win is your victory.
Absolutely.
And so there's not any competition.
No.
And so if you're feeling discouraged, maybe one of the reasons is because you don't have anybody really relationally around you that wants you to win.
That's actually a teammate on your team.
But do you know why they don't want you to win? Because they're in competition with you.
Right.
They're in comparison game with you.
Absolutely.
And so if you fail, we just had this, we hired a new guy on our team. We hired a new guy on our team, on our staff team, and he had someone come and volunteer and help and serve. And that guy, while he was here, kind of had a flub. Something happened on a stage. That
it wasn't really his fault. It was like a technical difficulty.
But he gave our new teammate's guy gave us the greatest compliment.
Yeah.
He said, at churches I've been at before, I would have been put on a wall of shame.
They would have pointed, they would have laughed, they would have picked apart the simple flub and mistake, and it would have been called out in the moment, like on like a in-ear kind of way, and later publicly, I would have been shamed. Yeah.
But he said here, that's not at all what happened.
No.
That they were encouraged and they clapped and people were with me and nobody even really knew that it happened. But it was because we've fought to build a culture of encouragement instead of discouragement.
Yeah.
And so one of the best ways to encourage yourself is to build a group of people around you that will encourage you.
Yeah.
Because if I fall into an emo hole,
right,
which happens,
I
mean, not a lot.
No, but to all of us in moments, we all need something.
If I fall into an emo hole, there's a dozen people
absolutely
that will run over, lasso my tail out of that hole, and tell me where I'm winning.
Yeah.
But I've had seasons that I didn't have that.
Right.
And it felt like the people around me threw dirt on top of me to bury me in the hole instead of to pull me out. And so how do you encourage yourself? You get you a team that will help you do that.
Absolutely. Build a team around you and be willing to say, this is who we're going to be. Like, we're going to be cheerleaders and champions, and then call it out. Like that coach says, best teammate ever.
Best teammate ever.
And like we've had to in seasons be like, good job. You're encouraging. That's so good. The way you're encouraging. I'm so grateful for it, because human nature is to start feeling like, well, wait, if they're great, then what about me? How am I? No. What you said, if I win, you win. If you win, I win. We're on a team together. Let's go.
When we were doing multiple services, like we were at one point doing 4 services every Sunday.
Back to back to back to back. Like fast.
I would almost every week after the first one have you come in, and I would feel like, that wasn't good. What do I fix? How do I help this? And as I look back, mostly what you did was just tell me,
you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. That was great. Now there would sometimes be critiques and changes and edits
or something.
But having somebody who will come around and help you. Okay, so if you're feeling discouraged, how do you encourage yourself? Well, you look back at what you've already accomplished, right? You look at the reality of the circumstances and the situations that are affecting you. What you said, you move the target.
Yeah. Change
the target to something that's reasonable. You build a team of people that are around you to help encourage you. What else?
Man, I mean, you look back, but then you have to also identify, like, we're so close. That's another one. Like for you and I, we've had some goals that we've really wanted to get to for our team, for our church, for our financial situation, for our building structure. And we've not yet accomplished some of them, but we're really close to some things. And I think that sometimes you just have to go, hey, it's not as much about looking back as it is recognizing there's not that much left to finish, to accomplish the goal. We're close to where we want to be. We're not there yet, but we're almost there. What you said, same, Jim, like, it's not my thing at all, but I'm trying. And like doing a plank, to a 1 minute hold a plank thing is the hardest, worst. But really what's the worst for me is the 30 to 45 seconds or whatever. That last 15 for me is a lot easier because I'm like, I only have 15 seconds left.
Funny.
But it's that middle spot right there where I'm like, I can just give up right now. It doesn't matter. No one else even knows what my timer is. But my last 15 seconds, I'm always like, oh, I only have 15 seconds left. You can hold anything for 15 seconds. Good. And so sometimes you have to go, okay, we're super close. We're almost there. Rally, pull yourself up and be like, I know I feel discouraged, but if I'll just keep pushing a few more weeks, if I'll just keep running, I'm almost there.
No, that's really good. That's weird.
It's super weird.
It's super weird, but it's true. And I could give a bunch of illustrations for myself that's true.
Yeah.
It was easier for me to preach the 4th service than the 2nd.
Right.
Because I knew this is my last one. I got it. I
got this. Right.
But when I still have 3 more to go, I was discouraged.
Right. So I think there's a balance of just, and again, it's something you and I, we talk about it here. If you haven't watched enough, we talk about it all the time. Our self-awareness of ourself, but also our situation, it matters. And
we need to do another self-awareness.
Yeah, we've just got to pay attention. Go.
No, I think that's great. Another piece of how to encourage yourself, and this one could have some maybe sub-ideas, is just smile.
Right. Fake it till you make it.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Well, energy is a choice. Whatever. Like, whatever
Energy's a
phrase
choice.
you want to pick for it.
Like, you're discouraged. Okay, cool.
Keep
Go
going.
see a movie.
Yeah, keep going. Right?
I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
sometimes we get in the, they say going around the toilet bowl. Like, we're just in the, like, flush cycle of, like, oh, my life. Oh, this is so hard. Oh, I can't. We get stuck in this.
Right.
And I'm like, sometimes we just have to rattle out of that.
Yeah.
And go get out of town.
Shake it up.
Go
right.
go to a restaurant. Go do something is a celebration, that
Absolutely.
is fun to help change your vibe.
No, that's really...
Because the vibe of discouragement is never fun. Well, then do something that helps change the vibe.
Yeah, change your perspective, change your viewpoint, whatever it is. Yeah, it's really good.
Repaint a wall in your house.
Yeah. No, right.
Move the couch to the other like, I don't know what it is. Do something that helps change up that funk, that feeling of discouragement.
No, that's really good.
I think that's 5 or 6 different things.
That's a lot of things, but it's good.
One other so the Bible says that David did is he went into a cave and got alone. And so sometimes when we're discouraged, because there's 2 different kinds of people.
Right.
Sometimes we have to quit running to everybody else to encourage us.
Absolutely.
And every once in a while, we got to get alone and just smack ourselves around a little bit and be like, pull your crap together, man.
Right.
Like, get alone.
Get a hold of yourself. Yeah.
Talk to God and be like, help me. Like, help me figure this out. And
you and I both have done that in the last year, taken some time. And I think that for both of us, it felt initially like, is this a waste of time and energy and resource? Like, but it actually was the best investment of ourselves to say, I need some space to, sit and look myself in the mirror and say, hey, keep going. You got this. Yeah.
You got to encourage yourself.
It's super good. No, I think it's great.
Yeah. Get alone. Like you said, you're right. I'm chewing on what you said.
What?
Like, no, you basically sent me on a sabbatical and said you need to go
away.
Said go away. You need to go and rest and relax.
Yeah.
And it felt like a big waste of time. And then I felt like I'm a big baby that I need to go. Wah, I'm so tired. I felt like a baby.
Right.
But once I got out of the norm.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Because what happens
it's shaking it up
is
in a different way.
we stand so close to the problems daily that we can't see the world around us. What is the saying? You can't see the forest.
Forest for the trees. The tree is so close, you can't see that there's actually a whole forest.
Like, relax, chill out, back up, slow down.
Right.
Not with the intention of just resting, but so you can feel reinvigorated and re-encourage yourself.
Yeah, it's not just about go lay on the couch. Like, go take some rest time, but it's about being intentional with that time. Because you went first, you researched how to do this the best and the most.
I called 3 mentors
and said,
what do I do?
Yeah. What do I do? But I think it was so good because it set you up for success, which then inevitably, when I went, set me up for success, to recognize, like, the intentionality of, like, it's not enough to just get alone or to just sit in your living room by yourself or to go to a coffee shop in Fort Worth or whatever, but to be intentional in that alone time to say, hey, get a hold of myself, encourage myself. What else can I see? What broader thing can I actually experience that helped encourage, for sure?
No, it's super good.
Yeah, anything else you want to say?
If you're watching this and you've watched a whole 35 minutes or however deep we are, you're doing a good job.
Absolutely.
You're probably doing better than you think you are.
Of course.
You probably think, I'm not doing good. I'm mediocre. I'm stunted because of where I am. The leader I'm under is a loser, and so I can't do. You're probably doing better than you think you are. I just got a testimony this Sunday from a guy in our church that helped me remember we're doing a good job.
Right.
Now, we might not have the numbers that I thought we would have. We might not have the facilities that I wish that we had, but I'm doing better than I think that I am.
Yeah.
And like, however discouraged you are out there, let this be an encouragement to you that you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's really good.
Don't give up, man.
No, keep going. Don't get discouraged. And if you have to write it on, like that one day that you wrote it on my whiteboard, I know that, I probably had written it on yours before, but like you wrote it out. We are doing a good job. And I left it there for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like I would erase the board around it, but I was like, I have to remember this. I have to stare at it and see it. And so whatever you have to do sometimes to just remind yourself, whatever that looks like. Yeah, you're doing better than you think you are.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you turn your phone off?
Yeah.
Turn your iPad or whatever off, and take a minute and talk to yourself. Walk through our points that we just hit.
Yeah.
And tell yourself you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Encourage yourself.
Encourage yourself.
And keep tugging. You're doing good.
Guys, love y'all. We're super excited and honored that we get to speak into your ministry and your life and your business and your family.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions that you'd like us to address, any topics that you want us to hit, tell us. Come on, hit us up.
That's right.
Would love to answer it.
Yes. Love y'all.
See ya.